I have material prepared, and I have different parts of the class. So the first is that over the course of the last few sessions, we've been able to not only learn and interact with the learning through the understanding that we've developed in the class itself, but we've been working on lyrics that I've compiled the lyrics together and written a song, not from my own words, but these are the words of the congregants of Stanton Street Shul. And so I want to present at the beginning of this class the song that we've
a song that was created in the shul
by the community. Over the course of our learning, people have submitted lyrics that have moved their heart. And so I compiled the lyrics together and turned it into a song that I'll sing for you right now. Okay?
Oh, great. Dvir, by the way, where are you? You're in a very fancy place.
I'm in my fancy apartment in Washington Heights.
Oh, how did you get all the plants to grow? Or did your wife do that?
Yeah. We receive plants from people and vases, and it's a really beautiful place to give shiurim.
Wow. And Mazel Tov on the engagement. I understand we have to keep our lips shut for now till there's a public announcement.
Yeah.
As you said, what goes around comes around.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's mitzvah goreret mitzvah. Okay, so I'll first share the song. Share sound. Beautiful. Oops. Here, share sound, advanced. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. And away we go.
Okay.
Let me know. Can you hear?
I can hear, yes. Who's playing?
Yes.
Who's playing?
This is part of the song.
Do you play guitar?
No. This is orchestrated together. I found myself taking right down from the sky. Parchment, a Torah parchment.
Dvir, I need to see the words. I enjoyed the music, but I couldn't understand one word of what you said. I'm
Hey,
having my annual hearing test tomorrow. The
okay.
hearing aids will need to be adjusted. Can you show me the words?
Yes,
Please?
yes, of course, of course. Not only can I show you the words, but I can put them into the chat. It was a song written about the act of creating a Torah. And the beginning of the song was from the perspective of a Torah being written, and the Torah itself from the Torah's perspective. And the second half of the song was from the perspective of the sofer and what it means to be a part of the act of writing a Torah. And so I posted the lyrics on the side. You can look through them if you'd like. But I want to do some learning, because right now we created a song from the last few weeks of what we've been discovering and learning in the Torah. But I want to take that idea of a song and understand the mitzvah itself. What is the pasuk that brings us to the idea of the mitzvah itself? That we are tasked, each one, every single one of us, to not only read the Torah on a weekly basis, but we are given the commandment to write a Torah.
That's true.
Yes.
And I've always found that perplexing because it's such a monumental task.
Exactly.
Even in the old days, it would have been considered very expensive because of schar betela. Even if you're not dealing with cash or cryptocurrency, you have to take time off from work to do this major project.
It's a serious undertaking. And so I present to you our source sheet.
Oh, great.
Okay. The series is called Shivim Panim LaTorah. A Torah is born. I will make this bigger so that you can see it very clearly.
Thank you.
Shivim Panim LaTorah, a Torah is born. And so, in order to really understand this mitzvah, that everyone is commanded to write their own Torah, we need to understand the pasuk in which the mitzvah is given. And the pasuk comes right at the very, very end of the Torah, in Parshat Hazinu, right before Vizot HaBracha. We have this pasuk, Va'ata kitvu lachem et hashira hazot. And this idea, kitvu et hashira hazot, therefore write down this song. Of course, it's talking about Hazinu, that everyone should write down the song of Hazinu. But Chazal teaches us, actually, it isn't talking about the song that we are referring to, isn't the actual song that is in the text, but it actually tells us that the entire Torah is in itself a song. And Hashira Hazot is referring to Kitvu Lachem. Every single individual needs to write Hashira Hazot, the song that is the song of the Torah. And so, before kind of proceeding forward, isn't it beautiful that each one of us, over the course of this learning, we didn't just write the ideas and write down the letters that we were understanding, but we took it further by actually making a song. Kitvu lachem et hashira hazot. We created a song together. And I want to explore this mitzvah further because there's actually interpretations from Chazal that give us credence to think that actually our undertaking of making our own song about Torah is exactly what it means to fulfill this mitzvah. So we need to first understand a little bit more, because the pasuk in itself says kitvu, but there's more to the pasuk than just kitvu. It says also, what other verbs do we have? V'lamda et bnei Israel, sima bepihem. You should learn it. First you should write it, then you should learn it, and then you should place it in their mouths. Literally, if you're writing it, it's on a paper, it's external from you. But by having it written, then by learning it, you internalize it to the point that it enters into you, and then sima bepihem, and then it leaves from you. So you take something that is external, integrate it into you, and eventually it leaves from within you. And I think that there's a process that happens by us receiving the Torah for thousands of generations, that actually by writing a Torah, if we stop at the mitzvah of just writing the letters and writing the Torah in its form, we're only doing a third of the process. Actually, what it means to integrate the Torah into our lives means that writing a Torah, part of writing the Torah is from the perspective of us receiving the Masorah and bringing it down. But it's actually, in order to fulfill it, this mitzvah, part of it actually is us integrating it into our souls, because what happens when we enter it into our own souls, the Torah itself stays alive, and the Torah itself changes in the process of us interacting with it. If it just stayed in one form and just from what it was, it would stagnate. By us keeping it alive, by creating new Torah, by being excited by Torah into the next generation, for our children, for our grandchildren, what we are able to do is to make the Torah itself change by interacting with people, seeing the ideas from the Torah from their own eyes, from their own mouths, from their own perspectives. And we have halacha. The halacha actually goes into two different directions. One direction is from the Torah. The Torah is the father of the Shulchan Aruch, and Yosef Karo learned from the Torah, had a lot of ideas, and the project of the Shulchan Aruch was very inspired by his father's work, the Torah. The Torah says about this mitzvah, my master, my father, the Rosh. So now we're going into one generation even above. Of blessed memory wrote that this was written only for the earlier generations. That the earliest generations, it was for them the commandment was just to write it. The previous generations, they need to write the Torah. Who would write a Torah scroll and learn from it. But after it is written, nowadays, in the next subsequent generation, when we write a Torah scroll and place it in the synagogue to read from it publicly, it's not a passive mitzvah. It's actually an active mitzvah, a positive mitzvah, incumbent on all Jews who have the means to do so, to write volumes of, not writing volumes of Chumash. You would think that the way of fulfilling this mitzvah from the perspective of the Torah is to write Chumash. No, it's to write Torah, Mishnah, Gemara, commentaries. It's the idea of the Torah expanding in its meaning, going into this deep expanse that the words of the Torah are so holy, have so much infinity baked into them, that it doesn't stop at Bereshit bara Elokim, but it's the levels and layers of interpretation for thousands of years that make what the Torah is today alive and in a continuous dialogue with each generation. After the generation of the Tanaim, there was the generation of the Amoraim. And after the generation of the Amoraim, you have the Geonim, and each subsequent generation receives the Torah and interprets it and interacts with it from their eyes, from their mouths, from their perspectives. And that's what the Torah says, that there's an idea of this mitzvah, that actually, if you really want to fulfill this mitzvah, you need to come up with your own interpretations. As we've done in the last few weeks, you need to come up with your song. You need to kitvu et hashira hazot. It's a creative process. It's a musical song with so much beauty that's alive that it dances off the page. It's not just letters on a page, but it's music. But this idea of an expansive mitzvah actually makes it seems like it's much harder. You said it's a very taxing undertaking that someone would have to stop their job if they really want to fulfill this mitzvah of writing a Torah. And what the Torah almost says is that writing a Torah. Oh, somebody's coming in. Let me pause. Hello. Hi, iPhone. Welcome. Oh, hi. So we're in the middle of our learning. I'll give you a quick synopsis and then we'll dive right in because we're at a really great part of the learning. So there's a mitzvah. First we started off with a song that we created with the Stanton Street Shul community, based off of our learning from the first session with Bria and the second session. Each of the sessions, people have been compiling lyrics, and I presented a song that was created from the lyrics, from the minds of the Stanton Street community. And actually, what they were doing was fulfilling a mitzvah. What mitzvah? The mitzvah of writing a Sefer Torah. What? That's not writing a Sefer Torah, that's writing a song. But actually, if you look at the mitzvah itself teaches us that the pasuk based off of it says, Va'ata kitvu lachem et hashira hazot. That in order to fulfill the mitzvah of writing a Sefer Torah, there's three verbs that are in this pasuk. And usually people say it's the mitzvah is based off of kitvu lachem et hashira hazot, that you have to write a sefer, you have to write this song, and it's referring to the entire Torah. But there's actually two more verbs. The second verb is v'lamada et bnei Israel, and you should learn. So after you write, you learn it, and that becomes that it goes from what's an external source onto the page. You integrate it into your being by learning it, and then sima bepihem, and then you put it at your mouth to have it expel from you, that it goes from the page, from the external, into you and out of you. And I suggested that it's the reason why the mitzvah is formed in this way is not only that we are changed by this process of learning, of writing it, learning it, integrating it. It's almost this pedagogy that people have multiple types of learners. You have the auditory learners, you have the written learners, the visual learners. That's not just it. Really, part of this process is that by each subsequent generation going through this process of not just writing it, but that's the starting point, but it ends with each person bringing it into them and releasing it from them, and having this transmission of exchange of ideas. The Torah changes in the process. The Torah stays alive by experiencing people's own experiences. Hello, join the party, my beautiful wife. We are here with Family reunion. Okay.
Hello, everybody. I just finished parent-teacher conferences.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Now, so we just looked at the tour, and the tour, you would think, if you were to have the conception of this mitzvah from its most basic sense of writing a Torah, then it would be done once you write the word Israel at the end of Parshat Vezot HaBracha, and you're done, you fulfilled the mitzvah. But the Torah actually impresses upon us that it actually goes beyond. It goes beyond writing the words. And he says that in previous earlier generations, all they did was write the words. But in order to fulfill the mitzvah in future generations, you need to write. It is incumbent on all Jews. It's a positive mitzvah. It's a continually active mitzvah that we're always engaging with. And you need to write volumes of the Torah, not the Torah, the Mishnah, not the Mishnah, Gemara. You see that each generation from the Tanaim, they have their perspectives, and they fulfilled the mitzvah by producing the Mishnah. The next generation fulfilled its mitzvah by producing the Gemara. Each generation is bringing their own experiences. That's how you keep the Torah alive. That's how it perpetuates and continues to be an ongoing dialogue. And it continues on the commentaries of the commentaries. And that's what we're continually building. You do not fulfill the mitzvah by just writing the letters of the Chumash. That's what the Torah says. Now, this is an expansive interpretation of this mitzvah. But as Debbie Robinson said so beautifully in her first interaction, this mitzvah is hard enough as is. It's a huge undertaking for any individual to write an entire Torah. You're going to tell me that someone took on this undertaking of writing an entire Torah, and they still haven't fulfilled the mitzvah? You're going to tell me that doing all of that isn't enough? Well, the Rambam has an opposite approach. And I suggest that the Rambam's opposite approach is actually equally as challenging. So, he also says it's a positive commandment on every human. The actual words say man, but I feel like I'm in this room with beautiful scholars of Torah who have much further along in the process of writing Sifrei Torah than I. And so I suggest that you as well are taking part of this positive commandment. To write a Torah scroll for themselves, as it writes, write for yourself a song. This is to say, write for yourself a Torah, which has in it this song. Okay, we got to that point already, because one does not write the Torah only in segments, but even if one's ancestors left him a Torah scroll, it's a mitzvah to write one for himself. We need to write the Torah ourselves. If he wrote it by his own hand, it is as if he received it from Mount Sinai. That it's our hand that writes it. It's not just about the interpretations and commentaries beyond it, but it's our hand that needs to write it, because that hand falls in line into the Masorah dating back to the first reception of the Torah. But here is where it doesn't go expansive, it gets extremely microscopic. One who corrects a Torah scroll, even a single letter, it is as if he wrote all of it. This is true. This halachically is true. If you have ever been to it goes even further. If you are in your life, you have the opportunity to hold the hand of a sofer as they are writing one letter, then you have fulfilled this mitzvah. So now it went from writing Talmud, writing interpretations, interacting with it, having this expansive relationship with the Torah. It goes all the way down to that you fulfill the mitzvah. All you have to do is write a single letter. But I think that there's something beneath the surface in this idea that actually makes it so that there is so much more to this idea. There is in the focusing into the relationship between a single letter, that we're able to see the true expansiveness of what it means to interact with the Torah and to be part of this constant, proactive relationship with the Torah. The Zohar Chadash in Shir HaShirim says, there are 600,000 letters in the Sefer Torah, which correspond to the 600,000 souls of the 12 tribes of the Jewish people. That in the Torah, each letter does not represent, it's all like being part of a word or a sentence or something, a larger structure. Each letter connects to an entire human being. And when we read this idea, even if one ancestor's left him a Torah, you have to write it yourself in order to receive it at Mount Sinai. Because by writing a letter, actually, a single letter is an entire oilam. A single letter is a human being in the entirety of what you can find. If you probe deeply and you isolate each letter of the Torah and you analyze it from the perspective of Shivim Panim LaTorah, that each letter you look and you analyze and you investigate and you allow your mind to dance and frolic inside the magnitude of this text. What you're able to see is that there's infinity even in the minutia. Wake up and smell the coffee. Look at the beauty that is inside this text. That you don't need to write commentaries expansive and create these magnum opus level of works, but that the investigation can start on a single letter. If you write a single letter of Torah, you write a single idea, you are bringing yourself back to Mount Sinai. You're bringing yourself back all the way into this process, this chain, this sharsheret that connects us all the way back to Har Sinai. I wanna end with Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, who so eloquently, the first class that we had of this year was on November 7th, the yard site of Rabbi Jonathan Sachs. We started this journey at the yard site, and I want us to just hear from his perspective really how he is able to take this idea of our undertaking, the song that we wrote over the last 3 weeks, and how he was able to understand it from his perspective as Kitvu lachem et hashira hazat. We have to write our own scroll. The point about the Torah is not that it is old, but that it is new. It's not just about the past, but also about the future. It is not simply some ancient document that comes from an earlier era in the evolution of society. It speaks to us here, now, but not without making the effort to write it again. There are 2 Hebrew words for an inheritance, nachala and Yerusha, Morasha. They convey different ideas. Nachala is related to the word nachal, meaning a river, a stream. As water flows downhill, so an inheritance flows down the generations. It happens naturally. It needs no effort on our part. A Yerusha is different. Here the verb is active. It means to take possession of something by a positive deed or effort. Torah is a morasha, not a nachala. We need to write it for ourselves, not merely inherit it from our ancestors. The Torah is compared to a song because to those who appreciate music, the most beautiful choral sound is a complex harmony with many different voices singing different notes. The Torah and its myriad commentaries, its shivim panim, its pieces, is a choral symphony scored for many voices. The written text, its melody, the oral tradition, its polyphony.
That's beautiful. Boy,
If you take the idea of shivim panim, actually, shivim panim la Torah follows this idea of the 3 steps that we saw. Let's go back to the beginning. Kitvu, you write it. You write the panim. Lamda la Torah. You internalize it into yourself. And then you bring out from your voice, Sima bepihem, Laman tied li hashira hazot, la'ed bibnei Israel. You bring it out from your perspective, from your mouth, from your vantage point. Shivim panim LaTorah is actually the number 70 is actually the letter ayin. Ayin panim LaTorah. That it comes from every single person's perspective. My ayin sees the Torah from my perspective, and someone else's ayin sees the Torah from their perspective. And from there, we have 600,000 letters dancing and singing in chorus with one another. That every single person bringing their own interpretation to the Torah, their own ayin, they're able to enhance its meaning and make it come to life. And so I want to finish this song, this moment, by singing the song that we all created here at the Stanton Street Shul. This is our Shira, Kitvu et HaShira Hazot. Let me know if you can hear it now.
Yes.
This song is divided from one side from the perspective of the and the other side from the perspective of just there. Can you hear me?
no.
Okay, I'll start again. Let's
We
see.
hear the background music, but we're not hearing lyrics yet.
Okay, no, but were you able to hear me while the song was playing?
The background was like overwhelming, and we could kind of like we could
Okay.
faintly hear you speaking.
Okay, good to know. The first verse of the song is from the perspective of a Torah, the Torah scroll being written, and then the second verse is from the perspective of the Sofer. Let me know, is this better? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Better? Okay. Every little day, they lose the lives of. I find myself in a chain brought down from the soul. Ready to have all the words which upon me. It's the same of an animal's body. My skin cuts and scratch. Oh, you put my down to the uplift of transcendence. Story of a soul apart. My skin cuts and my scratch. Oh, you put me down to the uplift of transcendence. A full-fledged whole apartment, sensation. I have the intention, my arms outstretched to meet my essence. I wait, so glory and sweet like honey on top of the plate. My hands are firm, my eyes are closed. My soul contemplating, my mind is clear, my body and spirit are ready here. My hands are firm, my purpose is pure, so working. My mind is clear, it's time to write the holy Torah. My skin flesh, hand and stretch. I'm dirty and in the uplift of transcendence. The story of a soul parchment, my skin flesh, hand and stretch. Oh, the infinity of that. Oh, to the uplift. It's a brand new Torah parchment, mint, mint, mint. Torah parchments, mints, 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 mint.
It would be great to see the text while you're singing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I could post it now if you'd like.
Yeah, or
I-
just send it. Yeah.
I put the text at the beginning, but people who came in later weren't able to see. Ah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for partaking on this journey, for being part of not only the learning that we've done, but fulfilling the mitzvah of writing a Sefer
A
Torah,
song. A
for
song.
a song for yourself.
Shkoyach.
Take care, everyone. It's so lovely learning with all of you.
Beautiful.
Dvir, would you say for you, your Torah letter writing is making music?
Yeah, according to the tour. It's our ability to internalize and then bring out our own interpretations with its own zest of life.
I like that, the Jonathan Sachs, the harmony and the polyphony. That was very beautifully said. Yeah.
Yeah.
The many voices. It's like, it's what makes Yiddishkeit so powerful, is that there really is respect for darshanut, for being able to create an interpretation that kind of breathes life back into it.
Yeah. Mm.
So
It's
what do you think your voice is in that harmony or polyphony?
I know that in learning, when it comes, it's like it really is about breath. Song is breath and voice is breath. And I think it blows oxygen into one. Well, like when you come with something that really resonates, it's like invigorating, right? It's so I don't know. I just know that the interpretation that when it comes, that there's such a beautiful resonance. And it's like sometimes it just feels like it comes down, or sometimes it comes from within and comes out. But so it is kind of a song. It is kind of a breath of insight in that sort of way. I love that when something comes, and that's that the text on its own, we haven't done it if we don't write our own vision of it in that sort of way, either by letter or by, by the verse or whatever it is, right?
mm. Yeah. Yeah. There's it feels like there's also there is a physical Torah. There is like something that we need to protect and to kind of preserve.
Mm-hmm.
There's the shamor, and the zachor of like our memories, our minds affect. Memory is affected by our own framing of something, and that kind of zachira that we have is like that once it enters into the frame of our minds, it's altered forever. When you remember a childhood experience, the more you remember it, the more alterations there are to that memory. In the neuroscience of memory, every time you recreate a memory, it alters just ever so slightly. And that's our own inclusion into that conversation. We're remembering what we received at Har Sinai, and yet we're re-remembering it packaged from our own lives.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way of saying every soul matters, every letter matters. It's beautiful. Shkoyach. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this has been a beautiful class. It's been very lovely.
The others are recorded also?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So, shkoyach.
Good,
Bye.
everybody. Laila tov.
Laila tov.
Shkoyach.
Bye.
All my love.
Bye.